Listen carefully, because this moment you're in right now, this exact second, is not random. It's not just another scroll, another video, another message passing through your day. No, something about this feels different, doesn't it? There's a pull, a pause, a quiet but undeniable nudge in your spirit telling you to stay, to listen, to not look away just yet. That feeling, that is not coincidence. That is divine interruption. There are moments in life when everything seems normal on the surface. You go about your routine, you talk to the same people, you think the same thoughts. But underneath it all, something begins to shift. Subtle at first, almost unnoticeable. A heaviness you can't explain. A tension you can't name. A question forming in your spirit that you don't quite have the words for yet. You felt that recently, haven't you? That quiet sense that something is about to happen but you don't know what. That feeling that you're being watched over but also being prepared. That strange mix of anticipation and unease, like standing on the edge of something you can't yet see. This is that moment. And the reason you're here, the reason your eyes landed on this message, is because heaven has chosen to interrupt your routine before the next few days unfold. Not after, not during, but right now before anything begins. Because once it begins, it will move fast. Archangel Michael does not step forward without reason. His presence is not casual. His voice does not echo without purpose. When he speaks, it is because something has already been set into motion in the spiritual realm. Something that will soon touch your physical reality. And right now he is speaking to you. Not the person next to you. Not the crowd. You. Because you've been on a path, a quiet, internal journey that others may not even recognize. You've been growing, shifting, questioning, awakening in ways that you yourself don't fully understand yet. And with that growth has come moments of doubt, moments where you wondered if you were imagining things, if you were overthinking, if you were reading too deeply into the signs around you. But what if you weren't? What if every feeling, every moment of discomfort, every sudden realization was actually preparation? Preparation for a test. Not a test designed to break you, but one designed to reveal you. Because here's the truth you need to hear right now. Before every elevation, there is an interruption. Before every breakthrough, there is a moment where everything feels uncertain. And before clarity arrives, confusion often tries to take center stage. That's where you are, right at the edge. And this message, this very moment, is heaven stepping in to say, pay attention now. Stay alert now. Do not drift. Because the next few days will not be ordinary. They will challenge the way you think. They will challenge the way you feel. They will challenge what you believe, not because you are weak, but because you are being strengthened. And the most dangerous thing you could do right now is ignore this feeling. Ignore this pull. Ignore this moment. Because deep down, you already know this is not something you were meant to skip. This is something you were meant to hear. So don't rush past this. Don't brush it off. Let it settle into your spirit. Let it anchor your attention. Because what comes next will only make sense if you stay present now. Archangel Michael is not here to alarm you. He is here to prepare you. And this right here is only the beginning. Type I am ready in the comments if you feel this message stirring your spirit. Blessing code 1010 is now activating divine awareness over your life. There is something you need to understand right now, and you need to feel it not just with your mind, but deep within your spirit. Time, in this moment, is not moving the way it normally does. What feels like an ordinary stretch of days ahead of you is, in the spiritual realm, a concentrated window, a narrowing passage, A divine countdown that has already begun, whether you are fully aware of it or not. You may have noticed it without realizing what it meant. The sudden shift in your energy. The way certain things that once felt stable now feel uncertain. The way your thoughts have been circling around deeper questions, heavier realizations, and moments of unexpected clarity followed by confusion. This is not random. This is not your imagination. This is the atmosphere around you changing because something is approaching. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now because the next few days carry a weight that cannot be ignored. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. There are periods in life where everything flows gently, where growth happens quietly, almost effortlessly. But then there are moments like this one, where everything intensifies, where decisions feel heavier, where emotions feel amplified, where even small choices seem to echo louder than usual. You are stepping into one of those moments. A spiritual countdown does not look like a ticking clock on the wall. It shows up as pressure. It shows up as urgency in your spirit. It shows up as a quiet but persistent feeling that you cannot afford to stay the same, think the same, or respond the same way you did before. Something is demanding your attention, your awareness, your presence. And here's the truth that many people miss. When heaven initiates a countdown, it is not to rush you into panic. It is to pull you into alignment. Because what is coming cannot be met with distraction. It cannot be faced with half-hearted faith. It cannot be navigated with old patterns and old responses. It requires you to be awake. Right now, there are shifts happening around you that you cannot fully see yet. Conversations are forming. Opportunities are aligning. Challenges are preparing themselves to surface. And at the same time, distractions are increasing, almost strategically. You may have already felt it. The urge to disconnect. The pull to avoid. The temptation to ignore what your spirit is trying to tell you. But this is exactly where the test begins. Because when a spiritual countdown is active, everything becomes more intentional. Every reaction matters. Every decision carries weight. Every moment becomes an opportunity either to align with what heaven is doing or to drift away from it. And drifting, in a moment like this, is dangerous. Not because something terrible will happen instantly, but because missing alignment in this window can delay what has been prepared for you. It can cause you to overlook what was meant to elevate you. It can make you respond out of fear when you were meant to respond with faith. This is why Archangel Michael is not waiting until later to speak. He is not allowing you to walk blindly into what is ahead. He is stepping in now, at the beginning of this countdown, to make one thing clear: you must be intentional with your spirit over the next few days. You may feel tested in ways that seem small on the surface but carry deeper meaning. A conversation that challenges your patience. A situation that triggers your doubt. A moment that makes you question everything you thought you were certain about. These are not coincidences. These are checkpoints within the countdown. And how you respond to them will reveal where your faith truly stands. Not the faith you speak about. Not the faith you show others. But the faith that lives within you when things become uncertain, when clarity is not immediate, when outcomes are not guaranteed. This is the hour where that faith is being called forward. So do not treat the next few days casually. Do not assume they will pass like any other time. Slow down your reactions. Pay attention to your thoughts. Guard your energy. Listen more closely to that inner voice that has been trying to guide you. Because this countdown is not here to harm you. It is here to position you. It is here to reveal you. It is here to prepare you for something that cannot be entered into lightly. Archangel Michael is standing at the edge of this moment, watching, guarding, guiding. And his message is clear. Stay present, stay aware, and do not underestimate what is unfolding. Because the clock is already moving. And what you do next matters more than you realize. Type "I stay aware" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2020 is now aligning your spirit with divine timing. There is a battle unfolding around you right now, and the most dangerous part about it is that it does not look like a battle at all. It does not arrive with loud warnings or obvious signs. It does not announce itself with chaos or visible conflict. Instead, it moves quietly, subtly, strategically. It blends into your daily life so seamlessly that if you are not spiritually alert, you will mistake it for ordinary life. But it is not ordinary. What you are feeling, what you have been sensing, what had been shifting beneath the surface is the evidence of a hidden battle. A spiritual conflict that is not being fought with physical weapons, but with influence, perception, and energy. And whether you realize it or not, you are standing right in the middle of it. You may have noticed moments where your thoughts don't feel like your own. Sudden doubt where there was once clarity. A wave of discouragement that seems to come out of nowhere. A lack of motivation in areas where you once felt strong. These are not random fluctuations. These are subtle intrusions, designed not to destroy you instantly, but to wear you down gradually. Because the enemy does not always attack with force. Sometimes the strategy is erosion. A slow, quiet pulling away from your confidence. A gentle but persistent questioning of your direction. A buildup of mental noise that makes it harder for you to hear the truth you once held firmly. And over time, if left unchecked, this quiet erosion can feel like you are losing yourself without understanding why. But here is what Archangel Michael needs you to see. This is not happening because you are weak. It is happening because you are significant. There is something about your path, your growth, your alignment, that has triggered resistance. Not visible resistance that you can confront directly, but spiritual resistance that works through your environment, your thoughts, and even the people around you. Conversations may feel different. Energy may feel off. Situations may not unfold the way they normally would. And the most confusing part is that nothing seems obviously wrong, yet everything feels slightly out of place. That is the nature of a hidden battle. It operates in the gray areas, in the spaces between certainty and confusion, in the moments where you begin to second-guess what you once knew. And if you are not careful, you will start responding to these subtle shifts as if they are truth, instead of recognizing them as interference. This is why discernment is critical right now. Discernment is not just about seeing what is obvious. It is about sensing what is concealed. It is about recognizing the difference between a genuine feeling and a planted one, between a real limitation and a perceived one, between a moment of rest and a moment of avoidance. And right now, your discernment is being sharpened through this very pressure. You are being trained to pause before reacting, to question before accepting, to observe before responding. Because not everything that presents itself to you in the next few days will be what it appears to be. Some situations will test your patience. Others will test your confidence. And some will test your ability to remain grounded when everything around you feels uncertain. But understand this clearly. The battle is not about the situation itself. It is about your response to it. Because your response determines your alignment. If you react out of fear, you step out of alignment. If you respond with awareness, you stay grounded. If you allow doubt to take over, you drift. But if you remain still, observant, and intentional, you begin to see through the illusion of the battle itself. And that is where your power lies. Archangel Michael is not standing beside you to fight every moment for you. He is standing with you to help you see clearly, so that you can move correctly. Because once you see the battle for what it is, it loses its ability to control you. The confusion begins to fade. The noise becomes easier to filter. The pressure no longer feels overwhelming, because you understand its purpose. And its purpose is simple: to see if you will forget who you are when things become unclear. But you cannot afford to forget. Not now. Not in this moment. Because what is hidden is only powerful when it remains unseen. The moment you recognize it, the moment you call it out internally, the moment you refuse to let it shape your thoughts and actions, it begins to lose its hold over you. So stay aware. Stay grounded. Stay present with yourself. Because this battle may be hidden, but you are not blind. And the more you trust what you are sensing, the more clearly you will see what is really happening around you. Type ISE clearly in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3030 is now sharpening your spiritual discernment. As this hidden battle is being revealed to you, understand this: every time you help this message reach another soul, you become part of heaven's strategy to awaken someone else before it's too late. The word declares that when you sow, you will also reap, and right now, your seed becomes light in someone else's darkness. I feel led to say this directly to you. Step into this moment and act, because your obedience carries more power than you realize. When you support through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are releasing a spiritual seed that multiplies across lives you may never see. This is not just support. This is participation in a divine mission unfolding in real time. As you give, heaven marks your faith and responds with provision, clarity, and protection over your life. Do not delay this prompting. Act now, and let your seed become a voice that reaches the lost. What you are feeling right now, that inner shaking, that quiet instability, that sense that something within you is being stretched beyond what feels comfortable, it is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is being tested. And not just any test. This is a test of your faith. Not the version of faith that exists when everything is calm and predictable. Not the kind of faith that feels easy when life flows in your favor. No, this is the kind of faith that is revealed when things stop making sense. When clarity disappears. When emotions rise. When circumstances shift in ways you did not expect and cannot immediately control. This is where real faith is measured. Because faith is not proven in comfort. It is revealed in uncertainty. You may have noticed that lately, things that once felt stable now feel fragile. Situations that you thought were settled now feel unpredictable. Even your own thoughts and emotions may feel unfamiliar at times, as if you are navigating through something you cannot fully define. One moment you feel strong and certain, and the next moment, doubt tries to creep in quietly, asking questions you were not asking before. This fluctuation is not weakness. It is prayer, and prayer has a purpose. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that this pressure is not here to break you. It is here to expose what is truly rooted within you. Because when everything is steady, it is easy to believe that your faith is strong. But when things begin to shake, when outcomes are unclear, when you are forced to stand without immediate answers, that is when your foundation is revealed. And right now, your foundation is being tested. You may feel like you are being pulled in different directions. One part of you wants to stay grounded, to trust, to remain calm. But another part of you feels the urge to react, to worry, to try and regain control over what feels uncertain. This internal tension is part of the test. It is the space where you must choose which voice you will follow. Because in moments like this, there are always two voices. One voice speaks fear. It magnifies problems. It rushes you into decisions. It convinces you that you need immediate answers, immediate control, immediate resolution. It makes everything feel urgent in a way that creates anxiety rather than clarity. The other voice speaks faith. It slows you down. It reminds you to breathe, to observe, to trust what you cannot yet see. It does not deny the situation, but it refuses to let the situation define you. It keeps you grounded even when everything around you feels unstable. And the test is simple but not easy. Which voice will you follow? Because the next few days will present moments where you will have to decide. Not once but repeatedly. Small moments. Subtle decisions. Reactions that seem insignificant but carry deeper consequences. The way you respond to these moments will shape your path forward more than you realize. You might be tempted to interpret this shaking as a setback. You might question whether you are moving in the right direction. You might even feel like you are losing ground instead of gaining it. But this is where perspective becomes critical. This is not regression. This is refinement. Refinement does not feel comfortable. It does not feel smooth. It involves friction. It involves pressure. It involves being placed in situations that reveal your limits so that those limits can be expanded. And right now, your capacity is being expanded. Your ability to remain calm under pressure is being strengthened. Your ability to trust without immediate proof is being deepened. Your ability to stay aligned even when things feel uncertain is being built in real time. This is what makes the test meaningful. Because if your faith only existed when everything was clear, it would not be strong enough to carry you into what is ahead. What is coming requires a deeper level of trust, a steadier mindset, a stronger connection to your inner clarity, and that cannot be developed without being challenged. So do not misinterpret the shaking. Do not assume that because things feel uncertain, you are off track. Sometimes, the very feeling of instability is the sign that you are being repositioned, that you are being prepared to stand in a place where you will need to rely on your faith more than ever before. And this is where Archangel Michael stands with you, not to remove the test, but to guide you through it. He is not here to eliminate the pressure, but to ensure that the pressure produces strength instead of fear. He is reminding you that you are not alone in this moment, even if it feels like you are navigating it internally. So when you feel shaken, pause. Do not react immediately. Do not let fear make decisions for you. Give yourself space to breathe, to observe, to choose your response intentionally. Because every time you choose faith over fear, even in the smallest way, you pass part of the test. And the more you pass, the stronger you become. This is not the moment to doubt yourself. This is the moment to prove to yourself that your faith is real. Type "My faith is strong" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 4040 is now strengthening your inner foundation. Now listen closely, because what you are about to understand will change the way you see everything that has been happening around you. The pressure you have been feeling, the confusion that has tried to settle in your mind, the strange interruptions that seem to come at the exact wrong time, none of it is accidental. There is a strategy behind it. A quiet, calculated strategy designed not to destroy you outright, but to misdirect you just enough to slow you down. The enemy rarely begins with obvious attacks. He begins with distraction. Distraction does not always look like chaos. Sometimes it looks like busyness. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. Sometimes it looks like emotional exhaustion that makes you lose focus on what truly matters. You start your day with intention, but somehow your attention is pulled in a dozen different directions. You try to stay grounded, but something always seems to interrupt your peace. And slowly, without realizing it, your focus shifts. You begin paying more attention to what is urgent instead of what is important. You start reacting instead of responding. You lose sight of the bigger picture because your energy is being consumed by small, scattered moments that were never meant to hold that much weight in your life. This is not coincidence. This is distraction doing exactly what it was designed to do. And once distraction takes hold, the next phase begins: doubt. Doubt is subtle. It does not announce itself loudly. It whispers. It questions. It plants small uncertainties that grow over time if you do not challenge them. It makes you second-guess decisions you already made. It makes you question paths you were once confident in. It makes you hesitate in moments where clarity once came naturally. You may have felt it recently. That quiet voice asking, what if you're wrong? Or what if this doesn't work out? Or what if you're not as prepared as you think you are? These questions may seem harmless on the surface, but when they repeat often enough, they begin to reshape your mindset. And once doubt settles in, the final phase follows: delay. Delay is not always forced upon you. Sometimes, it is something you step into without realizing it. You hesitate when you should move. You overanalyze when you should trust. You wait for perfect clarity when you already have enough direction to take the next step. And in that waiting, momentum slows. Opportunities pass quietly. Decisions get postponed. Energy fades. And before you know it, you find yourself standing still, not because you cannot move forward, but because you have been led to believe that you should not move yet. This is the full strategy: distraction to shift your focus, doubt to weaken your confidence, and delay to stall your progress. And right now, this strategy is active around you. But here is what Archangel Michael wants you to realize: the strategy only works if you remain unaware of it. The moment you recognize distraction, you can refocus. The moment you notice doubt, you can challenge it. The moment you feel delay creeping in, you can choose to act anyway. Awareness breaks the pattern. That is why this message is coming to you now, before the next few days fully unfold. Because if you walk into this period unaware, you may find yourself reacting instead of leading your own path. But if you walk in with clarity, you will begin to see these tactics for what they are the moment they appear. You will notice when your attention is being pulled away from what matters. You will recognize when a thought does not align with your true direction. You will feel when hesitation is not wisdom, but fear disguised as caution. And in those moments, you will have a choice. Not a loud, dramatic choice, but a quiet, powerful one. To stay focused instead of distracted. To remain confident instead of doubtful. To move forward instead of delaying. These choices may seem small, but they are not. Because over the next few days, these small choices will shape your experience more than any external circumstance. They will determine whether you stay aligned or drift. Whether you move forward or remain stuck. Whether you rise through the test or get caught in the cycle of hesitation. This is why you must stay alert. Not fearful, not anxious, but aware. Because the strategy against you is subtle, but your awareness is stronger. Archangel Michael stands as your reminder that you are not here to be controlled by these patterns. You are here to see through them, to rise above them, and to continue moving forward with intention. So when distraction comes, pause and refocus. When doubt whispers, question it instead of accepting it. When delay tempts you, take one step forward anyway. Because every time you do, you break the strategy. And once the strategy is broken, your path becomes clear again. Type "I stay focused" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson Code 5050 is now strengthening your clarity and direction. You need to understand something deeply now, because this is where everything begins to shift in your awareness. You are not navigating this moment alone. Even in the silence, even in the confusion, even in the pressure that seems to come from all directions, there is a presence with you that has not moved, has not wavered, and has not taken its eyes off your path. That presence is Archangel Michael. He is not symbolic. He is not distant. He is not a passive observer watching your situation unfold from afar. He is active, positioned, assigned, and his role in this moment is not casual. It is intentional, precise, and necessary for what you are about to face. Michael stands as a protector first. Protection does not always look like the removal of difficulty. It does not mean that challenges disappear or that tests are avoided. True protection is guidance through the challenge. It is the unseen force that keeps situations from overwhelming you completely. It is the quiet intervention that prevents things from going further than they are allowed to go. There have already been moments where things could have escalated more than they did. Situations that could have turned against you more severely. Conversations that could have caused deeper damage. Decisions that could have led you further off course. But somehow, something held it back. Something softened the impact. Something redirected the outcome just enough to keep you steady. That is not luck. That is protection. Michael has been standing between you and what you cannot see, limiting what can reach you, controlling what is allowed to affect you, and ensuring that even in this test, you are not exposed beyond what you can handle. You may not always notice it in the moment, but when you look back, you will see the pattern. You will recognize that you were never as vulnerable as you thought. But Michael is not only a protector, he is also a warrior. And this is where you must shift your understanding. Because the battle you are in is not one you are meant to fight alone, but it is also not one you are meant to ignore. Michael does not fight in place of you. He fights alongside you, strengthening your position, reinforcing your awareness, and ensuring that the forces working against you do not overpower your path. His presence brings structure to chaos. When your thoughts feel scattered, he stabilizes your focus. When your emotions feel overwhelming, he anchors your response. When confusion tries to take over, he sharpens your clarity. This is not something you will always see externally. It is something you will feel internally, as a sudden sense of calm where there should be panic, as a moment of clarity where there should be doubt. These are not random moments. These are signals of his presence. Because a warrior does not always fight with visible force. Sometimes, the greatest battles are won by keeping you steady while everything around you tries to pull you off balance. And that is exactly what is happening right now. But there is another role Michael carries that is just as important, and this is the one you must pay the closest attention to. He's a revealer. This means that in the next few days, things will begin to become clear in ways they have not been before. Not all at once, not in a dramatic burst, but in small, precise moments of realization. You will start to see patterns you did not notice. You will begin to understand situations that once confused you. You will recognize intentions more clearly, both in yourself and in others. And this clarity will not always feel comfortable, because revelation removes illusion. Things you once ignored will stand out. Feelings you once dismissed will demand your attention. Truths you avoided will rise to the surface. This is part of the process. This is part of the guidance you are receiving. Michael does not reveal to overwhelm you. He reveals to prepare you. Because you cannot move forward effectively if you are still seeing things through a distorted lens. You cannot make the right decisions if you are operating from incomplete understanding. And you cannot pass this test if you are unaware of what is actually happening around you. So he brings light into the areas that need clarity. And once you see, you cannot unsee. This is why you must stay open in the coming days. Do not resist the realizations that come to you. Do not dismiss the insights that service. Do not ignore the quiet knowing that begins to form within you. Because that knowing is guidance. That clarity is protection. That awareness is part of the strategy that ensures you do not fall into the patterns that were set to distract, doubt, and delay you. You are being guided in real time. Not forced, not controlled, but guided. And the more you trust this guidance, the more aligned you become. So when things begin to make sense in unexpected ways, pause and acknowledge it. When clarity arrives, even if it is uncomfortable, accept it. When you feel a shift in your understanding, follow it. Because this is not confusion anymore. This is revelation in motion. And Archangel Michael is right there, not just watching, but actively ensuring that you see what you need to see, understand what you need to understand, and move the way you need to move. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. And now, more than ever, that presence is active around you. Type "I am guided" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 6060 is now surrounding you with protection and clarity. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey where holding on becomes more dangerous than letting go. And right now, you are stepping into that moment. It may not feel dramatic on the outside. It may not come with a clear announcement or a defined ending. But internally, something is shifting. Something is being highlighted. Something is being brought to your awareness that you can no longer ignore. This is the season of separation, and you need to understand this clearly. Separation is not punishment. It is preparation. Because not everything that has been with you can go with you. You may have already started to feel it. Certain conversations feel heavier than they used to. Certain connections feel draining instead of energizing. Certain habits that once felt normal now feel out of place. Even environments that you were comfortable in before may now create a subtle sense of discomfort, like you no longer fully belong there. This is not confusion. This is alignment beginning to take place. When you begin to grow, when your awareness deepens, when your direction becomes clearer, there is a natural shift that follows. What once matched your energy no longer does. What once supported your path now slows it down. And what once felt familiar begins to feel limiting. But here is where the test becomes difficult. Because familiarity is comfortable. And letting go of what is familiar, even when you know it is no longer right for you, can feel like loss. It can feel like you are walking away from something important. It can create moments of doubt where you question whether you are making the right decision. But what you are really experiencing is transition. Archangel Michael is making something very clear in this moment. The next few days will not only test your faith in what you believe, they will test your willingness to release what is no longer aligned with that belief. And that release may not always be obvious. It may not require a dramatic exit or a confrontation. Sometimes, separation happens quietly. You begin to respond differently. You stop engaging in the same patterns. You create space where there was once constant connection. You choose peace over participation. And slowly, without force, things begin to fall away. But this requires strength. Because there will be moments where you are tempted to return to what feels easy. To reconnect in ways that feel familiar. To re-engage in habits or conversations that once defined your routine. Not because they are right for you, but because they are comfortable. This is where awareness becomes critical. You must ask yourself, in each moment, does this align with who I am becoming, or is it pulling me back into who I used to be? Because the answer to that question will guide your decisions. And in this season, your decisions must be intentional, not emotional, not reactive, intentional. You are not being asked to disconnect from everything. You are being guided to discern what supports your growth and what interferes with it. And once you see that clearly, the next step is to act on that understanding. This is where many people hesitate. They recognize what needs to change, but they delay the action. They hold on a little longer. They give it one more chance. They wait for a clear sign. But in reality, the clarity has already been given. The discomfort you feel is the sign. The shift you sense is the confirmation. And the longer you ignore it, the more tension you will feel. Because misalignment creates pressure, but alignment creates peace. Even if that peace comes with temporary discomfort, even if it requires you to step into unfamiliar space, even if it means standing alone for a moment longer than you expected. Because sometimes, standing alone is not isolation. It is elevation. It is the space where your identity becomes clear without external influence. It is where your decisions are not shaped by others' expectations. It is where your direction becomes solid because it is no longer divided. And this is exactly what you need right now. Clarity without interference. Focus without distraction. Movement without hesitation. Archangel Michael is not removing things from your life without purpose. He is creating space for what is meant to come next. But that space cannot be filled if it is already occupied by what no longer belongs. So you must be willing to release. Not with fear, not with resentment, but with understanding. Understanding that what is leaving is not being taken from you. It is making room for you. And the more you trust this process, the easier it becomes to move forward without looking back. Because what is ahead of you requires a version of you that is not weighed down by what you have outgrown. This is your moment to choose. To hold on to what is familiar or to step into what is aligned. Type "I release" and rise in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7070 is now activating alignment and peace in your life. There is a moment in every test where the pressure reaches its peak. A moment where it feels like everything is too much. Where your patience feels thin, your clarity feels distant, and your strength feels like it is being stretched beyond what you thought you could handle. This is the moment most people misunderstand. This is the moment most people try to escape. But this is the breaking point. And you need to hear this clearly. The breaking point is not where you fall apart. It is where you are transformed. Because pressure does not exist without purpose. It builds. It intensifies. It surrounds you in ways that feel uncomfortable, even overwhelming at times. But it is not random. It is not meaningless. It is the final stage before something shifts. You may already feel it building. The weight of everything you have been navigating. The emotional tension. The mental exhaustion. The constant need to stay aware, to stay grounded, to stay aligned. It can feel like you have been holding everything together for too long, waiting for a moment of release. And now, that moment is approaching. But it will not arrive the way you expect. Because transformation rarely feels like relief at first. It feels like pressure reaching a point where something must change. Where something can no longer stay the same. Where your current way of thinking, reacting, and holding on is no longer sustainable. This is where the shift begins. Archangel Michael is making something very clear in this moment. The pressure you feel is not here to crush you. It is here to force clarity. It is here to break patterns that can no longer continue. It is here to push you beyond the limits you have unconsciously placed on yourself. Because as long as you remain within those limits, you remain within the same cycle. And you were not meant to stay in that cycle. So the pressure increases. Not to harm you, but to move you. To bring you to a point where staying the same becomes more uncomfortable than changing. Where holding on becomes heavier than letting go. Where hesitation becomes more painful than action. This is the breaking point. And it is sacred. Because this is where decisions are made that redefine everything. You may feel the urge to retreat. To step back. To disconnect. To avoid what feels intense. But this is not the time to retreat. This is the time to stand still and face what is rising within you. Because what is rising is not weakness. It is truth. Truth about what you can no longer tolerate. Truth about what you truly need. Truth about what must change if you are going to move forward. And once that truth becomes clear, there is no going back. You cannot unsee it. You cannot unknow it. You can only choose whether to act on it. This is why this moment feels so intense. Because it is asking something of you. Not perfection. Not immediate answers. But honesty. Honesty with yourself about what is no longer working. Honesty about where you have been holding back. Honesty about what you have been avoiding, even though you knew it needed to be addressed. This is where transformation begins. Not when everything feels easy, but when you are willing to face what feels difficult. Archangel Michael stands with you in this moment, not to remove the intensity, but to ensure that it leads to growth instead of fear. He is holding the space for you to see clearly, to feel deeply, and to move forward with intention. Because once you pass through this breaking point, something changes. The confusion that once clouded your thinking begins to clear. The hesitation that slowed your movement begins to fade. The patterns that kept repeating begin to lose their hold over you. And in their place, something stronger emerges. Clarity. Direction. Confidence. Not because everything around you suddenly becomes perfect, but because you are no longer the same person navigating it. You have shifted, and that shift changes everything. So do not fear this moment. Do not resist the pressure. Do not try to escape what is happening within you. Stay present with it. Observe it. Understand it. Because this is not your breaking point in the way you once understood it. This is your turning point. The moment where everything begins to move in a new direction. And once it does, you will realize that the pressure was never against you. It was always working for you. Type "I embrace the shift" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8080 is now activating transformation within you. As you stand at this breaking point and feel the transformation unfolding within you, understand this truth. Every seed you release in faith becomes a catalyst for someone else's breakthrough. The word declares that those who sow into the Spirit will reap life. And right now, your giving becomes light in places still covered in darkness. I speak directly to you in this moment. Step into obedience and act, because this is not about supporting a channel. This is about advancing a divine mission that reaches souls who are on the edge of their own breakthrough. When you release your super thanks or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are opening a river that flows far beyond what you can see. Heaven marks this act, multiplies it, and returns it into your life with clarity, provision, and divine protection. This is your moment to respond, not later, not when it feels convenient, but now. Sow your seed and become part of the transformation God is unfolding across lives. There is something you must understand now, something that will change the way you see everything you've been going through. This test you are facing, this pressure, this stretching, this moment that feels heavier than usual, it was not given to you randomly. It was not assigned to you by chance. It was entrusted to you because you were chosen for it. Not because you are perfect. Not because you always feel strong. Not because you have everything figured out. But because there is something within you that can handle what others would not be able to carry in this moment. And that something's power. Not loud power. Not visible power that demands attention. But a quiet, steady, unshakable strength that has been developing within you over time. A strength that has been built through everything you've already faced, everything you've already endured, everything you've already overcome without even realizing how much it shaped you. You may not always recognize it. You may not always feel it. But it is there. And this test is revealing it. Because here is the truth. You cannot step into a higher level of your life without first recognizing the strength you already carry. And sometimes, the only way to recognize that strength is to be placed in a situation that requires you to use it. That is where you are now. You are being called to rise into a version of yourself that does not react impulsively, that does not collapse under pressure, that does not lose direction when things become uncertain. You are being called to stand in your awareness, in your clarity, in your faith, even when everything around you tries to challenge it. And that is not something everyone can do. But you can. Because you have already been preparing for this moment. Every past challenge that seemed difficult at the time, every moment where you felt stretched beyond your comfort, every situation where you had to find your way without clear guidance, all of it was building something within you. All of it was strengthening your ability to stand where you are standing now. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. It was all preparation. And now, that preparation is being activated. You may feel like you are being pushed, like you are being asked to step into something bigger than you expected. And that feeling is real. Because growth always feels bigger than where you currently stand. It always feels like a stretch. It always requires you to expand beyond what is familiar. But that does not mean you are not ready. It means you are stepping into readiness. Archangel Michael is making something very clear in this moment. You were not brought this far to hesitate now. You were not guided through everything you've already experienced just to stop at the moment where it matters most. You were brought here to rise. And rising does not mean everything becomes easy. It means you become stronger than what you are facing. It means your mindset shifts. Your awareness sharpens. Your ability to remain grounded increases, even when external circumstances are uncertain. This is the power within you. The ability to stay steady when things shake. The ability to stay clear when things confuse. The ability to move forward when hesitation tries to hold you back. This is not something you need to search for. It is something you need to trust. Because the moment you begin to doubt your ability, you disconnect from the very strength that has carried you this far. But the moment you trust it, even in small ways, it begins to expand. It begins to guide you. It begins to support you in ways that feel natural, even in situations that feel unfamiliar. This is why this test is necessary. Because it is not only about what you are facing externally. It is about what you are discovering internally. You are discovering that you are more capable than you thought. More resilient than you believed. More prepared than you realized. And once you see that clearly, everything changes. Because you stop approaching situations from a place of uncertainty, and you begin to approach them from a place of strength. You stop questioning whether you can handle what is in front of you, and you begin to trust that you will find your way through it. This is the shift. This is the moment where you stop looking outside for confirmation and begin to recognize what is already within you. And once you do, the test loses its weight, because it no longer feels like something you are struggling against. It becomes something you are moving through, with clarity, with awareness, with strength. Archangel Michael is not asking you to become something new. He is reminding you of who you already are, and who you are is more than enough for what is ahead. Type "I am strong" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9090 is now activating your inner power. Now you have arrived at the point where everything becomes real, not theoretical, not something to simply listen to and reflect on. This is where it becomes active. This is where everything you have felt, everything you have sensed, everything that has been building within you comes down to one thing: your decision. Because the next few days are not just about what happens to you. They are about how you respond to what happens. And that response will determine the direction you move in from this moment forward. You may not see it clearly yet, but you are standing at a crossroads. Not a visible one, not a dramatic split in the road, but a quiet internal one. A place where your thoughts, your reactions, and your choices begin to shape your outcome in ways that feel subtle at first, but become significant very quickly. Every moment in the next few days will carry an opportunity to stay aligned or to drift, an opportunity to trust or to doubt, an opportunity to move forward or to hesitate. And these opportunities will not always look important in the moment. They will appear as small decisions. How you respond to a situation, what you choose to focus on, whether you act or wait, whether you stay grounded or allow your emotions to take control. But understand this clearly: small decisions, repeated over time, create powerful outcomes. And right now, time is compressed, which means your decisions carry more weight than usual. This is why Archangel Michael is emphasizing this moment so strongly. Because you are not being asked to control everything around you. You are being asked to take responsibility for how you show up within it. You cannot control every situation that arises. You cannot predict every outcome. But you can control your response. You can control your focus. You can control whether you stay aligned with what you know to be true, or whether you allow external pressure to pull you off course. This is the test within the test. Because it is one thing to understand everything you have heard so far. It is another thing to apply it in real time, when situations are unfolding, when emotions are present, when clarity is not immediate. This is where intention becomes everything. You must move intentionally, not rushed, not reactive, not driven by fear or urgency, but guided by awareness. There will be moments where you feel the urge to act quickly, to respond immediately, to resolve something as fast as possible. But not every moment requires immediate action. Some moments require stillness, observation, space to understand what is truly happening before you decide how to move. This is where wisdom comes in, because not acting is sometimes just as powerful as acting, and knowing the difference is part of this decision-making process. There will also be moments where hesitation will feel justified, where waiting will seem like the safer option. But you must discern whether that hesitation is coming from clarity or from fear. Because waiting out of clarity keeps you aligned, but waiting out of fear creates delay. And you already understand what delay leads to. So in each moment, you must check in with yourself. Is this choice aligned with who I am becoming? Is this response coming from awareness or from reaction? Is this action moving me forward or keeping me in the same place? These questions will guide you. They will keep you grounded when things feel uncertain. They will help you navigate situations that do not have obvious answers. And most importantly, they will keep you connected to your direction, even when the path is not fully visible. Archangel Michael is not asking you to be perfect in your decisions. He is asking you to be present, because presence creates clarity, and clarity leads to the right choices. You will not get every moment exactly right. That is not the goal. The goal is to remain aware enough that even when you feel uncertain, you can pause, realign, and choose again. Because every moment is a new opportunity to align. And over the next few days, these opportunities will come more frequently, faster, more subtly, more intentionally. But you are ready for them. You have the awareness. You have the clarity. You have the strength to choose correctly, even when it feels difficult. So do not underestimate this moment. Do not treat these next few days casually, because what you decide, how you respond, and the way you choose to move will shape what comes next. This is your moment of decision, and it matters more than you realize. Type "I choose wisely" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1010 is now aligning your decisions with divine clarity. You have felt the pressure. You have recognized the test. You have seen the patterns, the distractions, the moments of doubt, the decisions that carry more weight than usual. But now, you must lift your eyes beyond the intensity of this moment and see what lies ahead. Because this test is not the end of your story. It is the doorway. There is something waiting on the other side of this. Something that cannot be given to you before you pass through what you are experiencing now. Not because it is being withheld from you, but because it requires a version of you that is fully prepared to receive it. And that is what this process has been about all along. Goverayan. Not punishment. Not delay without purpose. Preparation for a level of clarity, stability, and direction that you would not have been able to hold on to before this moment. Because what is ahead of you is not temporary. It is not something that comes and goes quickly. It is something that has the potential to reshape your path in a lasting way. But for it to remain, you must be ready. That is why the test feels intense. That is why the pressure has been building. That is why you have been pushed to observe yourself more closely, to make decisions more intentionally, to stay aware in ways you were not before. Because what you are stepping into requires a higher level of awareness than what you have operated in previously. And you are reaching that level now. You may not feel it fully yet, but something within you has already shifted. The way you think is changing. The way you respond is evolving. The way you see situations is becoming clearer. You are no longer reacting the same way. You are no longer as easily pulled into distraction or doubt. This is the evidence of your growth. And this growth is what unlocks what comes next. On the other side of this test, there is clarity. Not partial clarity, not temporary understanding, but a deeper sense of knowing. A steadiness in your direction that does not shake easily. A confidence that does not rely on external validation, but comes from your own alignment with what you know to be true. This clarity will simplify things that once felt complicated. Decisions that once felt overwhelming will become easier to navigate. Situations that once created confusion will become easier to understand. You will begin to see patterns quickly, recognize what aligns with you, and move forward without the hesitation that once slowed you down. This is one of the promises beyond the test. Another is peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything being perfect around you, but a deeper, internal peace that remains even when circumstances are still shifting. A calmness that comes from knowing you are aligned, even if everything is not fully resolved yet. This peace is powerful, because it allows you to move without anxiety, to act without fear, to remain steady even when things around you are still in motion. And this steadiness becomes your advantage. Because while others may still be reacting, still be uncertain, still be pulled in different directions, you will be grounded, focused, clear. And from that place, your decisions will naturally improve. Your path will begin to open in ways that feel more direct, more aligned, more intentional. This is where momentum begins. The kind of momentum that does not feel forced, but natural. The kind that builds because you are no longer working against yourself. You are no longer caught in cycles of hesitation or distraction. You are moving with clarity, and that clarity creates progress. This is what awaits you. But it is not automatic. It is access through what you are doing now, through your awareness, through your choices, through your willingness to stay present, to stay aligned, to continue moving forward even when things feel uncertain. Because every moment you choose awareness over reaction, every moment you choose clarity over confusion, every moment you choose movement over delay, you are stepping closer to what is waiting on the other side. Archangel Michael is showing you this not to give you false comfort, but to give you perspective, so that you do not become discouraged in the middle of the test, so that you remember that what you are experiencing now is temporary, but what you are moving toward is lasting, so that you stay committed to the process, even when it feels difficult, because this process is working, even if you cannot see all of the results yet, even if you do not feel the full shift yet. It is happening, and soon you will begin to notice it more clearly, in your thoughts, in your responses, in the way situations begin to unfold around you. And when you do, you will realize something important. This test was never meant to stop you. It was meant to prepare you for what you are now ready to receive. Type "I receive the promise" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1111 is now activating clarity and peace in your life. Now you have reached the final moment of this message, and this is where everything comes together. Not as information, not as something to simply understand, but as something to live, to carry, and to stand firm in as the next few days unfold. Because this is your final warning, and your final blessing. Archangel Michael is not speaking lightly here. He is not repeating what has already been said. He is drawing a line in your awareness, making something unmistakably clear. You are now fully aware of what is happening, and because of that awareness, you are now responsible for how you move forward. You cannot go back to being unaware. You cannot pretend you did not feel this. You cannot ignore the clarity that has been placed within you. Because once truth is revealed, it demands a response. And your response will determine everything that follows. The next few days will test you, yes. But now you understand how. Not through obvious challenges alone, but through subtle moments. Through decisions that seem small but carry weight. Through emotions that rise unexpectedly. Through situations that require you to choose between reacting and remaining grounded. This is the test. And now, you are ready for it. But readiness does not mean ease. There will still be moments where you feel pressure. Moments where doubt tries to return. Moments where distraction attempts to pull your attention away from what truly matters. But now, you will recognize it. Now, you will see it as it happens. And that changes everything. Because awareness breaks the cycle. When you see distraction, you will refocus. When you feel doubt, you will question it instead of accepting it. When delay tries to take hold, you will move forward anyway, even if it is just one small step. This is what standing firm looks like. Not perfection, but consistency. Not control over everything, but control over yourself. This is the posture you must carry into the next few days. A posture of awareness, a posture of calm, a posture of quiet strength that does not need to prove itself, but simply remains steady no matter what arises. Archangel Michael stands with you now, not just as a guide, but as a witness to this moment, a witness to your decision to stay aligned, to stay present, to not fall back into patterns that you have already outgrown, because you have outgrown them, and you know it. This is why the test came now, because you are no longer the same person you were before. You are more aware, more grounded, more capable of navigating what once would have overwhelmed you. And this is your blessing. Not something external being handed to you, but something internal being activated within you. A deeper clarity, a stronger sense of direction, a steadiness that cannot be easily shaken. This is what you receive when you stand firm. This is what unfolds when you remain aligned through the test. So as you move forward from this moment, carry this awareness with you. Do not rush. Do not react without thinking. Do not allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay aware of yourself in every moment. Because the more you do, the more you will feel something shift. Not all at once, but gradually. You will notice that situations do not affect you the same way. You will see that your responses are more controlled, more intentional. You will feel that inner stability becoming stronger, even when things around you are still uncertain. And that is how you know you are moving correctly. That is how you know you are passing the test. Not by avoiding challenges, but by remaining steady within them. This is your final reminder. This is your moment to stand firm. And as you do, know this: you are protected, you are guided, and you are ready. Type "I stand firm" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1212 is now sealing your strength and alignment. As you stand firm in this moment and carry this awareness forward, understand this: every act of giving you release becomes a seed that ignites faith in someone else who is still lost in their test. The word declares that when you sow into good ground, your harvest will overflow. And right now, this mission is reaching souls who are desperate for light, clarity, and direction. I speak to you directly. Step into this moment and respond, because your obedience is part of God's movement on this earth. When you give through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description and QR code on your screen, you are not supporting content. You are fueling a divine assignment that breaks chains and awakens spirits. Heaven sees your seed, multiplies it, and releases provision, protection, and favor back into your life. This is not a casual act. This is a prophetic response. Do not delay. Sow now, and let your giving become a river that carries God's word to those who are still searching for truth.